Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Lynch.
Thank you, Ciarán. Ciarán, I'd like to begin by thanking my colleague Brendan Howland TD for putting this motion before the House and to express my acknowledgement to the various people and the multitude of people who have actually been in contact with me over recent days in support of this motion. Ciarán, the Labour Civil Union Bill is the first realistic attempt by any political party in this House to put forward a serious and practical recognition of the way in which our complex society exists today. It challenges us to become a society that no longer limits us to view ourselves in arrangements developed in the distant past under some form of monarchy or some confined theocracy that we've actually existed for in other times. Rather, instead, it challenges us to recognise to live in a modern republic, a republic that provides each citizen with responsibilities and rights, and the rights to go with those responsibilities in equal measure. The purpose of the bill that we are debating before the House is to ensure that those who wish to have the responsibility of a civil union are provided with the right and to have that very responsibility granted to them. It's fundamentally an issue of people who wish to take responsibility being granted that responsibility and having that right enshrined in law. In the past, and not too distant past, this republic, or this country of ours, has acted shamefully and very, very shamefully towards persons. When looked at today, would fill us and does fill us with embarrassment and shame. And from that we should draw a lesson from the future and particularly draw a lesson from today. For example, in recent years, a child born outside wedlock was something that was outcasted, something that was ridiculed, and something that was denied equal citizenship. Today, if we actually examine what happened then, we see not only the anomaly of it, we not only see the second-class citizenship of it, we see how repugnant a thing it actually was. And what is happening in this House today by this amendment is a repugnant act in itself because it mirrors the type of confined thinking that existed in that period. In fact, recently, in official Ireland, this has been a repetitive theme, and it's something that we have come to expect from Fianna Fáil, a party opposed to any measure of social progress in any area of social reform. By similar means, this motion, as I said, sets out to correct this anomaly and to bring an end to the second-class citizenship which couples who are prohibited from a civil union actually encounter at this moment in time. Ciarán, the response of the government to this motion is a mixture of the expected and the unexpected. We could have hoped, but no one realistically expected Fianna Fáil to respond to this issue in any positive or progressive way. We all know that on any measure they've been brought dragging and screaming into any single measure of reform, whether it's on divorce, whether it's on any issue that has to do with creating a modern Ireland that has a republic and looks at citizenship, regardless of who that citizen actually is in equal measure. The unexpected part is your party's response, particularly considering the support that you gave to this bill earlier this year. And it's very regrettable that you're now colluding with Fianna Fáil in their former and their continuing attitudes by taking the old, we'll stick the head in the sand approach, and these are really social issues that we don't want to know about or we don't want to acknowledge. Last night, and again this morning on radio, I listened to the Green Party attempt to rationalise and explain its change of position, and to be frank, it's astonishing to witness. A few hours ago, I listened to yourself on Morning Ireland, and you spoke about in some anecdotal or comparative terms of being in a relationship where you too are seeking recognition. Can I say, Deputy Cuff, that while you and your Green colleagues may be complaining to the general public that you're looking for recognition from your new partner, let there be no mistake whatsoever, that in the public mind and in the public knowledge that you have consummated that relationship and consummate that relationship every day inside in this House. You've consummated on Tara, you've consummated on incineration, you've consummated on ministers' wage increases, and today you consummated it once more by undermining the Civil Unions Bill. My colleague Ciarán Lynch spoke about confidence, and it's ultimately a matter of confidence. We either have the confidence as a nation to recognise what a diverse society we actually live in. I think one of the great things of young people today is that they're not tied to those sort of bonds or conditioning that many of us actually grew up with. And if you were to speak to any young person about this issue, they don't even know what the problem is that's existing inside this House. They see this as a natural thing that should happen and should be legislated for, and something that we should be moving on and shouldn't even be debated inside this House. Not only that, inside this House, this is an issue that affects family members of ours, it affects friends, it affects colleagues, and I'm sure, like any other workplace in the country, it affects work colleagues and people walking around this very, very house today. To conclude, it's natural that people in relationships want to form unions and, in many cases, want to underpin those unions with legislative measures. The Labour Bill recognises the rights, the responsibilities and the necessities of a civils union and what is actually required in it, and that it must be legislated for and that a framework must be put together. And I would be calling on you and other members of this House to ensure that this amendment or this bill by the Labour Party is taken and that the amendment today is seen for what it is, which is to throw another shadow over something that should be brought out into open daylight and dealt with. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Lynch. There are 10 minutes remaining. Deputy O'Sullivan.